Yo, yo, yo! I just wanted to hop on here. I'm feeling inspired this morning. I just finished like a work block and we've just been grinding really. But I have a lot of questions to me personally about how I got started, taking that initial risk and more so getting over that fear, like of going all in on yourself, whether it doesn't really matter the business model or whatever the skill set is. For me personally, it was sales. I had a background in sales, in real estate. It made sense for me to go down that avenue. I'm really appreciative that I took that risk, but it wasn't easy initially and it's a lot of hard work. So I just wanted to have a bit of a yap session about this sort of thing and just share some light on how I did it. So in this video as a whole, I'm going to break down like fear, risk with going all in on yourself. And then I want to share a little bit about my story. In terms of the risk, it's like you have to ask yourself when it comes to taking a risk, like if you're not where you want to be in life right now, firstly, like why are you not? You have to get very clear with yourself about that and be super honest. It's like, why are you not in a position that you want to be? When you go on Instagram, when you scroll on TikTok, when you go on YouTube and you're watching videos of people that are living your dream lifestyle, why are they there and why are you not there? Well, firstly, it comes down to two things. People that are living lifestyles that you want, they have a skill set that is valuable, that business owners or people want to pay them for their skill set, right? The second one is, and this is the biggest one, is that they just took a risk. They took a leap of faith on themselves and they went all in to making it work. And majority of the time, people have failed multiple times. Over 10 times, some people that I know, some of my mates that are entrepreneurs. They've failed so many times, but the difference is that they never gave up. So when it comes to taking a risk on yourself, going all in to that one skill set, it's scary, right? Like it's just not easy and it shouldn't be easy because the thing is like the lifestyle that you want, your 2.0 version of yourself that has everything that you want in life, like it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be a struggle, and there's actually a beauty in sitting in the discomfort of getting to the level that you want to be at in life. Because yes, it's cool to be able to travel around and just jet around like location wise and have the freedom to do that. But the coolest part about it all is like the person that you become on the journey. And it sounds super cliche, but it's really true. For me personally, I had to make a massive like identity shift from like my 1.0 version to like my 2.0 version along this journey of leaving like my hometown, going all into like sales and getting really good at it. And that identity shift it's not something that a lot of people talk about, but it's what you go through when you start your own business or you start learning a skill set that has locational freedom attached to it. You level up yourself in the process, which I think is really cool. Now, in terms of myself, when I went through this journey, my 1.0 version, like just to break it down, my 1.0 version he was like the Sione that works a 9 to 5, that has no control over his time, that still lives at home with his parents, that still lives in his hometown, all these sorts of things. I associated that with my 1.0 version. That was like my current self back a year ago. And the 2.0 version was everything that I wanted in life. The freedom to travel remotely, to be able to just move around super freely while working from my laptop. Another thing that resonated with my 2.0 version was living out of Australia. For me, I'd only ever been in Australia and I wanted to leave, but I couldn't generate an income back then that would allow me to move around freely. So when I figured that part out and I knew of something that would allow me to do that, I had to go all in before knowing it was going to work, before even having a skill set like the one I do now. And I had to go all in on it and pay the price in full for the success that I wanted. And that aligned with my 2.0 version of myself. And when you're actually starting to think of these things and you're starting to want to be your 2.0 version more, you start to form an expectation of where you want your life to go. So your expectation will be here, right? And this is where you want your life to be, and that's where you feel like you should be in life. But then reality is telling you that you're here, and this is your current life, your 1.0 life. And the gap that there is between your expectation and your reality, your current situation, that gap there is what you feel, and that's pain. And that pain is internal pain of that identity gap that you have that's like in there. And so I was going through that transition where I knew I wanted to be able to travel. I knew I wanted to live in a place like Bali and have access to like all these crazy gyms, but I didn't know how to do it. And that's when I personally got into like remote sales and stuff like that. And I had to develop a skill set first, but I was willing to go all in on myself with no social proof of this actually working or anything like that. I didn't know anyone online doing stuff like this in person. And it was pretty scary, but at the end of the day, the question that I'd always bring myself back to would be like, what is the worst, say I go all in on this skill set, what is the worst that happens? Worst case scenario back then was like, say I moved to Bali, I leave my job. I could leave my job, try this, say I failed, and then just walk straight back into my other job. Like, it wasn't going anywhere. I had the skill set there. So that's the worst that happens, and I fail, right? I can probably try again. But the best case scenario, what happens if I succeed at it? Well, I live everything. I have that lifestyle that I've envisioned as a younger boy. Being able to look after my parents, being able to travel remotely and just move around super freely, have that locational freedom. Live in a place like Bali or travel to Europe. That was one of my goals for the longest time. As a kid, I just kept putting it off. Each year I kept putting it off and saying, oh, I'll go next year. And it was purely because I couldn't afford it. And I ticked one of those goals off this year. I went to Europe for like 3 months, just worked from my laptop, still traveled around with one of my best mates. And that was like a childhood dream for me. Doing that was massive. And they were the two sort of pathways. It was like, that was the best case scenario, have everything you want in life. And the worst case was like, I just go back to my 9-to-5 job that I was already doing and I failed. But I'd already been in this life. I knew I didn't like it. I knew I didn't resonate with it. I knew that I had more potential out there than just staying in that sort of career path. So that's why I went all in. And when I say that I paid for it in full, you have to figure out the price of success and pay for it in full with your actions. So you need to be willing to put in the work without seeing results, be able to commit to it without having a clear pathway all the time. Because this game of life is like, I'm unsure, like you're unsure where the future lies, where you're gonna be or what's gonna happen. But you just have to have like, it's like delusional belief in yourself. No matter what happens, like you're gonna make it work. That's something I've always had from such a young age. Is like, I just had delusional belief in myself that I was gonna make whatever happens around me, I was gonna make it work. And it was the same when I started to get into these online businesses and everything like that. So just to circle it back around, I think like the biggest point that I wanna make in this video is that if you're sitting here, if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, like, I could so do that. It's like, yes, you could, but what's holding you back from actually taking that first step? And majority of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's literally just fear. It's the fear of failure, the fear of committing to that, the fear of judgment from peers. And like, if I could offer one piece of advice to anyone listening here that is feeling that sort of way, is like, just go all in on yourself. Like, ask yourself the same question that I did. What's the worst that happens and what is the best case scenario? And I guarantee you that you'll feel a way of like, I just have to do this. So I hope that this video sort of inspires someone to make change. Because for me, like, I used to watch all these sort of videos, these motivational speeches, and then not do anything about it. My challenge to you is to action it, set a date, set something in your mind, write it out on paper, and those beliefs, those goals that you have, work towards them. We approach like the end of the year. It's like where do you want to be at the end of the year? Do you want to be in the same spot, or do you want to be working towards something greater, something bigger, your 2.0 version? That's just a bit of a yap session from me. I felt inspired to sort of hop on and just have like a really raw, authentic chat. Yeah, I hope that this inspires someone to make change out there, because I just remember like 12 months ago, so crazy to even think about, is like I was having these same conversations with myself internally, like in my head. I remember how hard that was. So hopefully it does. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm off to the gym now to hit a workout. It's currently like 12 o'clock in Bali. So I hit a workout and then smash some more work afterwards. But I hope everyone has an awesome day and smashes some goals. Let's go.